Hi guys. Okay, so this is what me doing a live show on a Friday, honey. You know I normally don't do it, but I wanted to do something different. And I have like a panel. Hi, Halamel, Walter. So I have a panel. So Fridays are going to be panel debate discussions. Yes. And it's going to be fun. We're going to talk about some things. In particular, I want to talk about this Shiloh Hendricks, the white woman that called the black baby the N word. And honey, she trying to raise $1 million on the, what is it? Go Send Go or something, Good Send Go or something. And she got 500,000 raised so far. And people are in an uproar, right? They're calling her the white Carmelo Anthony. And so and then we're going to talk about Diddy. And the main event is the CNN debate with Anna Navarro, right? So it's going to be fun. So let me bring in my first guest, Abby.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I want to bring you on first because this is the first time me and you met, and I was referred to you by Nora from the new party. She's going to be on the panel tonight. So tell us about yourself, who you are, a little bit of
So,
background.
I am on the new party also. So, I also do panels with the new party. We do them Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we discuss political topics. So, kind of very similar to this. And I also host live panels on TikTok. So it's very wild, wild west. A lot of crazies out there, and it's very entertaining. So I do that Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to around 2 p.m., sometimes 3, depending on if the conversation gets good. And I tend to be more moderate, but I am left leaning, so more on the liberal side. And yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Now, is this your TikTok name, Funny Debate Club?
Yeah, so I go by the Skeptic, but Funny Debate Club is what my actual handle's under. So there's been
Okay.
a little bit of confusion. So I'm like, I'm just going to put Funny Debate Club.
Okay. So yeah, so everybody go at Funny Debate Club on TikTok
Yes.
and follow Miss Abby. Okay, so let's bring in Nora. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Fabulous.
So Nora, honey, you've been on here several times from the new party. You referred me to Miss Abby because been on your platform as well. So, but reintroduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nora Christine. I am the host slash producer of a podcast called The New Party. We do debate style topics. We also have a man show called The Man Cave on Monday and Wednesday evenings at 8 p.m.
Mhm. You should put the new party in your name. Can you change your name or update
Yeah,
it?
let me see. Okay.
All right. And
Mm.
I have another. I don't know what happened to men's. All right. I was supposed to have the one man men's. He's been on here before, and we frequent on X Space a lot. And I invited him on. Let me see. Where are you?
Oh, man, I wanted to meet him.
Where are you? I'm sending him a text right now because I want to, want us to start getting into the show. Where are you? I seen
Friday
him
nights
back.
are a little hard.
Out. Okay, let me see something. I want to play around. Okay, this is nice. Oh, this is nice. Okay, this is cool. All right, I'm just playing around. Guys, please hit the like button. Please share this video on all your social media outlets, and shout out to everybody on X. Please like and repost. Um,
Mhm.
Buck says, oh, let me put myself down here. Wait a minute. Buck
Yeah, he said
said,
he don't like the format.
I hate this YouTube live format, Dana. You can't rewind it. You can't multitask. The comments cover the love. Oh, I mean, yeah, but you know what? I want to be different, and this is like
Mhm.
Casual Friday. Hi, Mins.
Hello, how's everything going?
Good, honey. You gotta speak up.
Can you Hello. So how's everything going? Can you hear me?
Good evening.
Yeah,
Hey.
Okay.
just talk a little louder because you seem your volume is like a little low. Men, sometimes, honey, you be doing too much with the lighting and the audio, with the technology.
Is this loud enough for you?
Make it a little bit louder.
All right.
Yeah, that's
Hopefully
better.
you can hear me now. All right.
Yeah.
Much
All
better.
right.
All right. So let's get into it. I want to start. Let's just start with Puffy before we get into the meat of the main discussion. Let's see. What is this? Oh, let's see this. Oh, this
Oh,
is
that's cute.
cool. Yeah,
I
right?
like that. I like that.
So it says, I don't cut deals with the Fed. So we all know the Diddy trial starts um Monday, May the 5th is the what is it? The jury selection, right? Yeah, it's the jury selection on
Mhm.
Monday. So, but
Mhm.
the feds are asking, gave him a deal, a plea deal, and he said, "I don't cut deals with the feds," and I think that's a good idea. I don't think Diddy should make a deal with the feds. Diddy was back in court this week, Thursday, for one final hearing before his criminal trial, and he told the judge he rejected a plea deal presented to him by federal prosecutors. The Bad Boys record founder strolled into a Manhattan courtroom wearing a tan gel jumpsuit, looking gray and thin, and he waved to the public and media seated in a gallery before taking a seat at the defense table between the two of his attorneys, Brian Still. We know Brian Still from the YSL case down in Fulton County, and Teeny Jaragos. I know I'm saying it wrong. Diddy was smiling. He was in good spirits. And the judge asked Diddy if he rejected a written plea offer from the government, and Diddy replied, "Yes, I did." Diddy was also asked
Mm.
if he was aware he would potentially serve more time in prison if he's convicted than if he took a plea deal. And Diddy told the judge he understood the stakes. While we don't know what the prosecutors offer, typically they offer a sentence
Mm.
to what the defendant would receive if convicted. Commonly, they don't expect the defendant to accept a plea. Instead, prosecutors are guarding against grounds for appeal. If prosecutors didn't offer it, it could give Diddy a post conviction argument that his attorneys didn't effectively represent his interests and therefore he should get a new trial. So, Thursday hearing also touched on jury selection, with the judge saying jury selection will begin Monday, May the 5th, 8 a.m. sharp. So, I want to get you guys' opinions on the whole Diddy trial. Should he have taken the plea? What say you? Let's start with Abby. She's new.
Did he do it? I'm joking. I mean, I feel like if you are confident enough in your case, don't take a plea deal. Go put it in the hands of 12 people if you believe you have enough proof. But potentially you can end up getting a longer sentence, or you can get a no, not guilty. I mean, you're gambling with your own, future. So he must be confident in the case that they have as far as, his defense. So, I mean, go for it. I guess we'll see.
Men's, what are your thoughts?
Uh, I think that this doesn't look good for those of us who um, thought that he was basically being targeted by the lawyer that's been going after Jay Z and the other artists. It kind of kills that narrative that he actually is pretty much guilty. There's a lot of us that has been following a lot of the claims, in the past of his actions and stuff, and I think ultimately his career is going to be over when he takes that plea. Or if if he does move forward taking this plea, it's going to be over. Um, I it's like I said, all this makes him
You
look
have a
guilty.
little fuzzy. You have some fuzzy stuff sound coming out of your audio.
Is it?
Yeah. Do you guys hear it?
Yeah, it's a little bit. I can hear it sometimes when you're talking.
Uh-oh.
Nora, what are your thoughts?
Well, being on how the feds have a 99% conviction rate, I think he should have taken it. I mean, because I don't know. I mean, and then this week, TD Jakes stepped down from his church officially. I mean, the timing to me is very off. I'm almost wondering what evidence they have and who else is going to be implicated in this. I've heard all sorts of wild rumors, which I won't repeat on your show. But yeah, I mean, I think I personally think he should have taken it, especially because the one attorney that quit, the reason why he quit, he was saying, we're not prepared for trial. And he didn't want to, I guess because he's in a rush to get out of jail, which understandably so. I mean, this guy's a billionaire. Who wants to be sitting in one of the worst jails in the country? But at the same time, I don't know. I'm curious how this case is going to play out and what evidence that the feds have.
Yeah, me personally, where's Abby? Where'd she go? I don't
She might
know.
have lost signal. Some
No,
poor
Oh.
thing.
it was me. So me personally, I think that he should not take the plea deal. If you have good lawyers, and especially if, we don't really know all the evidence, we just know what the media puts out and what they can grab, mainly from the prosecutors, and how many people were suing him, which they're not. A lot of those people are not going to see that money because they can't prove, it's just hearsay, right? So the actual evidence, we don't know the evidence that the defense is going to be presenting. So in this case, listen, I wouldn't take it. It's still a gamble, but remember Irv Gotti, when the feds came down on him, I think that was Rico. In those cases, you usually never win, but he beat it. So I think in this case, I think Diddy could possibly beat this case. It's probably going to be maybe a mistrial. And let's just say he is found guilty. He's going to get a new trial, on appeal. I think it's going to be something surprising come out of it that's going to benefit him. So I can't wait until Cassie takes this stand. And I wish they allowed the cameras to be inside the courtroom. And they did not. So I'm just like, okay, we just got to look at these damn sketches and actually read what was said. But it's going to be interesting. But I think that was a good idea that he did not take a plea deal.
Well, I think you make a good point, Dana, because I think there's a difference that a lot of people may not understand between you being civilly liable, which is what would have happened with the people that were basically they're asking for money in order for a case not to be brought up or
Mhm.
for the case to be dropped, then criminal court. So he could go to jail potentially off of this. And then if people have proof to show that he actually harmed them, they can take him to civil court and then, still get paid out like that. So that's a really good point. I think that we tend to miss. I don't know if him and Cassie have an agreement. I know that she did end up getting a pay, and I don't know if there is some kind of agreement where she doesn't speak about what happened again. So potentially I don't know if that could be held, could be upheld in criminal court. So that's a good point to bring up.
I didn't think of that. Yeah, because if he does take the plea, that means you are admitting to guilt, which opens up those civil cases for those people to sue him. I didn't think of that. That's a great point. Thank you, Abby. So it's like, yeah, like definitely no, like too many people. How many people sick? Isn't it like close to 100 people?
It's
Well,
a lot of
Well,
people that have came out.
I've seen people found not guilty in
oh
other
no.
cases.
Wait,
Ooh.
the audio is horrible, honey.
What's
Get
wrong?
off whatever you on and go come on your phone. Get on your phone. Take that audio off and just
Yeah, it's rough.
yeah, it's rough. Just come on your phone. Come on your iPhone. Can you hear us?
Okay, what about now?
It's now it sounds fuzzy. It's still a noise. Just go on your phone.
I'm on. It's going through my MacBook microphone now, so it should
Yeah, no, don't. No, it's
still
not working.
fuzzy. That's weird.
Yeah.
It's because you're not like you need a mic next to you, I think.
Yeah, you need a mic next to you, but just go to
Mhm.
your phone. Use your cell phone. Go out and come back in on your cell phone. I don't know. I'll let him figure it out. Where's his thing at? Oh, it's right here. Give me a second.
Okay.
Go out and come back in on your cell phone. Um, so yeah, so Puffy, that's a great point. So right. And that's probably why he did not take the plea deal, because all you other people are not going to put me in a poorhouse.
Hmm.
Right.
And
And the person I feel like that had a case basically came to an agreement with him. So, and I want to say that she may have a gag order due to that agreement. So that means that she can't even speak on that case anymore. If depending on what exactly is on their agreement. But I do want to say that she did get a pretty large payout. We don't know the number, but I'm pretty
I
sure it was a
think
pretty
he got
penny.
30 million. I think it was 30,
Hmm. It was 30.
but
Hmm.
she's going to, this is Cassie, but she is going to testify. So, you know, um, I'm curious. She's whatever they ask her, she's gonna have to answer. But I think it is a gag order where she can't talk to the media. But
Right. But I think she has to. I don't think a gag order prevents you from being involved in a criminal trial at that point.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I think Dana, your audio isn't
oh, I'm
working.
sorry. Yeah, I
Oh, okay.
muted myself. Somebody said insurance paid Cassie the clown. Well, that is, yeah, insurance. A lot of these wealthy people, they have like these insurance. So when something like this happened with a lawsuit, their insurance have to pay it out. It's not really coming out their pocket. But if he has dozen other lawsuits, the insurance is not going to pay all those lawsuits, to where he's probably going to have come out his own pocket. And who wants to do that? So yeah, I think it's a good idea that he did not take the plea deal, but he said he don't cut deals with the feds. Like, boy, bye. I think he probably would have tried to take a deal if he didn't have all those different lawsuits. All right. I don't, what is going on with men's real quick? Are you still there, men's? Okay, he went out. All right. I
Oh,
don't
no.
I guess if he'll figure it out. All right. So another thing before we get into the CNN thing. Let's see, let me share this.
Oh, this lady.
Yes, honey.
Damn. Already? It's only been like 3 days.
Yeah, it's crazy. The fact
She
that
didn't she wait,
Damn.
what was her original ask? I think it was like 2 something.
Yeah, 250. And now we up to 1 million.
she had to up it because so many donations. It's crazy.
She
She
had
said,
Let us know if you gave.
help protect her family. What are we protecting? From what I saw, we need a protection from you.
yes.
I don't
So
even know what she did. I haven't followed this.
okay, so she got, wait a minute, let me get a better
There's a video, right? Like I've
Yeah,
been scrolling, I see, and I
it's a
think it's
pretty
all a
long
big.
video.
oh, this is only
I,
45 seconds though.
You call him a nigger, the child?
The fuck you talking
Did you
about?
call the child the nigger word?
None of your fucking business.
It is my business. You call him a nigger? Okay, why don't you have the balls to say it right now again?
Fuck you, nigger.
Okay.
Nigger.
All right, that's what you say.
bro, you can't say that, lady.
Nobody dig into your shit.
A little fucking kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him a nigger? The little child?
What if he acts like one, he's gonna...
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child, 5-year-old, a nigger, the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be recorded for that.
I don't give a shit.
Huh.
Fuck off.
Okay,
People
we'll see
gave
about
money
that, what the
to
internet
this?
has to say about you. You
To
call
her.
him a nigger?
Yeah, they gave
And-
money to her.
But
From
this
what
is
I
their get back
understand,
for Carmelo.
from what I understand, she went and sat down in like a bench, and she acted like she was calling someone to come handle him. And then he was like, I think his son is like 6 years old and has autism, from what I understand. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, the boy that got went in her bag, he has autism.
Yes. So I wouldn't say he's like a 6-year-old with autism. So and he had played with her son before, so that he felt comfortable, like he knew him. So I want
Recognized,
to,
right.
yeah. So he didn't understand, like you can't just go into someone's bag, you know.
And when he
Mm.
probably was going in, oh, I see a snack or I see a juice or something like that. Like, what's the big deal?
Yeah, he's better
She's
than
a
me.
disgusting person.
I told my husband, I was like, I would have been arrested because I have a 5-year-old and she just turned 6. I would have, yeah, that wouldn't have been a good day.
No,
That's
we would have had a
crazy.
world star moment.
I would have been on the news.
Well, now this screenshot says 274, but the latest I've heard is 400K. Let me Google her name to get some.
Whew. Is she a content creator? Is she somebody before this, I feel? No? I don't know why I saw
No.
something that okay. She's just some rando. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Shiloh Hendricks called an autistic black child a N-word at a playground in Minnesota because she was recorded and the video went viral. White people responded by raising her over 125. This is 15 hours ago, this person. So a race incident in Rochester involving slurs against little boy goes viral. Alleged offender raised over 100K. And then she ups it.
She
So
used somebody to go get plastic surgery. She a mess.
it says 12,808 racist people have donated over 346,000 to Shiloh. Wow.
Yeah, she's saying for the protection of her family, as if people are coming after her family. It's crazy.
She need to go fix her face. Go get some lips. Fix her nose.
Yeah, but she probably was getting some type of heat. But the fact is that you're raising money to protect you to do what? To move? Like, no.
Maybe for plastic surgery so she can hide her identity.
I
Right.
just feel like in Minnesota, there aren't going to be a lot of angry people there. Just breaking down the population demographic in Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't want to like keep showing her son, but so here's the thing
Mm.
though, is this white America donating to her as in a retaliation because people, probably majority black people, donated to Carmelo Anthony?
But I will say, when it comes to the Carmelo Anthony case, from what I understood and what I read, they haven't actually extracted any of the money from what's been collected. Everything that they have paid out of pocket. His family has, they're not like broke or anything. They're well off. So from what I understand, as of since his bond was paid, they hadn't extracted any of that money that was donated. So I'm not sure if that money has been taken out now, but it hadn't at that point. And from what I can tell, and I'm not judging the lady or anything, but she doesn't look like, she doesn't seem like that money's gonna sit there very long. She seems like she needs it a little bit.
What are
Yeah.
your thoughts, Nora? Do you think this is pushback? Do you think this is do you think this is white people, certain white people
Yeah.
retaliating against Carmelo Anthony donation?
Absolutely. The comments I've seen, if you guys can be tribal, we can be tribal too. White power, all sorts of crazy things. This is their retaliation. This is their get back. And honestly, I think it's a big psyop. I don't believe that video is real. I believe it's fake. I think it's a way to start a race war in this country. The Carmelo Anthony situation obviously is real. I'm not saying that's not real, but I believe it was publicized. There's multiple cases that I've seen out of Texas right now as we speak, similar situations, and no one covered it. So it's not unusual that this happens at school. It happens every day, unfortunately, in this country because we have an issue with violence. It's not a race issue, it's a violence issue. These young men, they have a lot of mental health issues. And instead of people offering them help, it's aggression. And it's not a race thing. And honestly, the people that have turned it into such, this because they want it to be a race thing.
Right, because Case and Allison, his
Hmm.
case just wrapped up Monday, and the jury came back Tuesday and only found him guilty on negligent homicide, meaning he did not intend
Hmm.
to kill Joe Ramirez. Um,
Good.
And so
Not good, but I'm just saying I hope that's what happens for Carmelo because I feel like this is a whole thing blown out of proportion. There's a lot of facts that don't make sense in the case. And I'm reserving judgment on is he guilty, is he not? But what made me angry is people crucified this boy. They had all sorts of stereotypes. And how about look how God works? He has $1 million home. He got two parents. He came from something like Abby said. He didn't come from nothing. So I mean, he was
And the first thing the
he,
media said, "Oh, he
yep,
comes from a single parent home," when in
yes,
reality they had no proof to say
yes.
that. So, yeah,
This is
it's
black culture. That's what they said. I'm not saying it's right, but that's what they said. I've heard it all in my comments.
yeah. And to Nora's point, when I started reading more on the facts on what happened, they knew each other prior to this incident, and now they're saying that it was his cleats. It was something that he needed to sharpen his cleats, which makes a lot of sense. Like I used to run track, so I was thinking like, oh, that makes sense. But the way that it was presented was a little bit I think sometimes we have to wait and have all the facts. It's funny how, the press and just like mainstream America tends to just jump the gun and kind of want to make they summarize things based on what they think in their mind. It's not based on proof.
so truth, who is this? It says truth teller. She does got to move. Um the police are investigating it. Do some research, ladies. Okay, but she need $1 million to move? Did she need half a million to move? She's not on trial. She don't need to pay attorneys. So come on, like stop. And what oh, here you go again. We all come from something. Nobody who birthed us or our background. I don't understand that, honey.
Mhm. She
You
can go move to
come,
Finland. I heard that's a pretty white country. Maybe she'll be happier there.
but do you need $1 million?
Yeah, they ain't gonna take her. They're gonna be like, "What you got?" You
But also, I feel like the repercussion of her actions to me seem pretty justifiable, being how you did that to a child. Like, it's crazy that you're talking about a child. We're not talking about an adult. You're talking about an adult woman who should have, number one, be more mature to be able to handle a situation that may be a little bit uncomfortable and not take it to, put children in this weird space. Like, if that had happened in front of me, it just like it's crazy. I feel like we need to be adults. I don't know what's happening to America where adults now have the ability to act like children, worse than children. I bet you that the children could have figured it out amongst themselves without having her do this outburst for no reason. Like she made a very common, something that happens commonly on playgrounds. I feel like this happens probably 80% on playgrounds. I've seen it happen before. A kid grabs something that's not theirs and a parent has to come in and explain to them, this is not how we handle this situation. This isn't yours. Give it back. This lady lost her cool and went and started saying racist things to a 6-year-old autistic child. I mean, it's kind of outrageous. It would make anybody upset. So I feel like it is justified. The lashback is justified in my view.
Now, are the police investigating? First of all, it's not a crime to call someone a name, the N word. Um, but
Mm.
are they investigating her or no? Because technically she didn't commit a crime. I think that because she didn't touch the boy or hit him, correct?
No, she didn't.
Mm.
From what I know, she didn't. She didn't hurt, and she didn't touch anybody. But I would take it as a, intimidation,
Mm,
that she went and sat down in the bench and acted like she was calling somebody to come and take care of the man that was basically calling her out and recorded her.
mm.
So I would have called that intimidating, and or harassment, and I would have called the police too. But I would have been the one
Where
having the police
were
called.
the parents of the little boy? Because everybody's focused on the GoFundMe, her raising it or wanting to raise $1 million, but where is the black artistic child parents in all this? So, and honestly, she knew what she was doing, and she knew she was going to use this moment. She probably thought it all the way through, and maybe they're in on it because maybe she knew she was going to use it.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm trying to say, Dana. Think about it. Either it's to start the race war or for her to get a check. I'm sorry, I just don't believe the situation. I think it's staged. A lot of these situations are psyops. It's staged. And especially now that Trump's in office, it's like they want a race war. They want people upset. They want to say it's all Trump's fault. It's just how I feel. Like, I don't think none of this would have happened under Joe Biden or Kamala.
Well, I do think that we did see some racist instances happen under Joe Biden, where people in the Black community were targeted by police or other things. So I think it does happen in America. I think that maybe people are a little bit more empowered because of the thing that are going on, like in Ohio, where you see literal racist people doing, marches and stuff. Maybe this is empowering those people that have always felt a certain way to speak out and maybe be like, what are you gonna do? Because I will say I live in the South. I've lived in the South since I was in college, and I do feel like there's maybe a change in the atmosphere or something where people there's a little bit more like, hesitation when you're coming into like a mixed environment, or the way that people address each other now. This is kind of like it's a weird time in America, to be honest with you. So I don't know if I necessarily think it's not real. But I do believe it. I do think someone could act like this, especially in a playground. Believe it or not, parents sometimes are some of the most immature people.
White Mirror on X says he's going to donate $1,000. Listen, I'm
And all our names.
I'm about to start a what it says, give, send, go. I'm about to start one.
Give me money.
All right, let's see. Men's, honey, what's going on?
Are we good now?
That's better.
Oh my God.
No.
What?
There's an echo.
It's
You have an echo.
I told him, use your phone. Like, why are you? He wants to do all this tech stuff, honey. I don't have time to do an audio check or visual check. You see how he got his lights, he got his camera, he got the whole setup, but it's like we can't do it while we're live. Just get on your phone. It's simple. Let's try it again, because we gotta get into the main topic. Hello, men's. What's going on? Say something.
I'm talking on my phone now.
Can you log in on your phone?
I'm using my phone right now. Does it work? Can you hear me?
No, you can't use. You are using your phone?
Yeah, I'm using my phone as a mic right now.
As a mic. Okay, so it sounds better. A little bit. It's still fuzziness. How's the audio, ladies?
That's probably the best so far.
Talk again.
He don't want to let go of that camera. And that's probably what, a $600 something camera or more?
I wish it was 600, but
it must be more. Well,
yeah. I'm using a phone. You can use
why
the other device.
Why don't you log in on here, like use the phone for your video and audio?
I guess I wanted to hurry up and make a comment on this kid, and
it's good enough. All right, go ahead, Vince. Go ahead.
Yeah, that father. I don't know if that was the kid's father. From what I understood, it was another person there. I want to know, where's the parents? This kid had autism, right? Apparently, this kid has autism. So you would think that the kids will actually be watching. The parents will be watching their child, or at least a guardian, someone with autism, and be alert when someone's calling their child the N-word. And then furthermore, this exchange that happened is like, where was anybody else to step in where there's enough time for this guy? So this dude, the guy that's talking, might actually be the father or the guardian, for all we know. And the woman obviously probably thought that his child was, or the person they were watching was was black, or because I've heard they call the people from India different variations of the N-word as well. But the fact that this woman can raise hundreds of thousands of dollars, I don't know. Like, I think that like there's another entity at play. I don't think this is like really the reflection of actual residents or civilians in America. I think this is like really organizational effort. In other words, like they even with the Metcalf situation, right? The Metcalf situation is like, I think that when these pages are created, you have organizations that make efforts to use this, to put this in the forefront, to put this like, as a media outcry on media, or like cause a reaction on media, because we do know that there's military level intelligence that's embedded in mainstream media, right? But what about our own media like Twitter, X, and GoFundMe, Twitter, GoFundMe, and these other platforms that's supposed to be for like grassroots, or what's it called when you raise money from individual effort and stuff? It was used a lot during the Obama era.
What?
When you
Like
could go get
a cash fund, like a PayPal.
Yeah, like when you could go to individual constituents and raise money instead of and it was like legalized during Obama's administration.
I forget.
Yeah, I forgot the name of it.
I want to say GoFundMe. Was it GoFundMe?
No, it's called something. It's called crowdfunding. Crowdfunding. Yes, crowdfunding. So with all these crowdfunding now, it's like, the advantage was that we could take event, we can empower each other, right? From going to our communities and so forth. But I think now that is is basically no different than like mainstream outsourcing and stuff, because you got somebody said it, crowdfunding. Yeah, you have money that's just pouring in there that I just don't want to believe that it's coming from the average American. I think that this is like really mainstream media.
It's coming from the average American.
Nah, I just don't. I don't believe that.
Who else is it coming from?
I think, like I'm telling you, I think it's organizations, right?
Say where you think it's coming from, man. Just say it.
Yeah, I think it's organizations that's basically picking and choosing to have like perhaps bots and stuff, right? Money pour into these things to cause disputes and frustrations, confusion. But ultimately, yes, I think it's racist people that are behind it. But I don't only think it's racist people. Well, obviously, I think that they're playing on both sides. That's what I think. I think that they're using these events to play on both sides, and it's not like individuals massively. I think it's like just organizations with a lot of money, technology, obviously, that makes dummy accounts. Like we've seen this with this with the money they raised with Kamala, right? There's a lot of people that were saying that.
Oh no, but I know people I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Every black person I know, well, let's say 3 out of 5 black people I know donated to Carmelo's fund. I mean, I'm just speaking from personal experience. Because I can't speak on the white side. I don't know any racist whites like that. And any white people I personally have a relationship with that sees that will be like, that's disgusting. I wouldn't give to. At least maybe that's what they're telling me to my face. But as far as Carmelo, I personally know people that gave to Carmelo.
Well, I did want to say
I donated to Carmelo's fund. I'll tell you straight up.
Right, I did. That's what I'm trying to say, man. So you see my point, like.
But to say that. I just want to say I know people. I'm from Arkansas, and I run in groups of like black and brown people. And right now, actually, I have a friend who I grew up with who currently has a lawsuit against Walmart because some coworkers of his were harassing him and doing racist things to him. They brought out a whip and whipped his car, and he actually ended up being fired. So I do think there are a lot of instances where this is happening, but maybe certain ones that are the top tier. If you can put them in a tier, that are the worst, quote unquote, are the ones that get media attention, because he actually has just now got lawyers to even pay any attention to him. So I mean, it does happen. I don't know if we can say that it doesn't happen. Maybe these just so happen to be the worst of the worst that happen, and then the media picks them up to then say, hey, look, this is what's going on.
Yeah. Well,
let me just say this, right? And don't judge me for this. All right. Times get hard. I'm going to a playground near you, and I'm going to call a few Hispanics and white children some derogatory names, and I'm going to start a GoFundMe the next day, because it seems like that.
Well, you're a black man. So no one's not going to donate. You're a black.
They're gonna just show up to your house to beat you up.
I'm gonna say good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Are you telling me that privilege? Are you telling me that privilege
Yes,
exists?
white privilege is a
No,
real
it doesn't exist. That's nonsense.
Whatever.
That's nonsense.
I wanna move to the main event, to the main topic. and this is why I wanted to start doing panels, right? Because CNN, Abby, what's her last name? Phillips? I don't know, Abby, whatever.
Yeah.
Abby Phillips on CNN. Honey, they ain't letting her go. They ain't gonna fire her because she came up with an idea. I don't know if it was her idea to do these panels. And I think people too, I think that's what's saving CNN is her show.
I agree. I don't hear nothing about CNN but her show.
Right.
And it really is genius. I've watched it before, even before like this clip and today. I really enjoy it.
Let me see. Wait a minute. What is this? Okay, yeah, I want to get like that. All right, so this is, and what's that guy name? I follow him. I forgot his name already. The white guy right here.
Jennings, right?
Jennings, yes, Scott Jennings,
Yeah.
right? Yes. Honey, he be tearing them up on that panel. So, all right, I'm gonna play this clip, and I'm gonna go around, let everybody speak, give their thoughts on it, and we'll just, duke it out.
Years of neglect and letting people walk into here without any process at all, and now you're trying to gum up the works to keep them here.
A lot of them came in with parole. A lot of them came in.
CNN polling shows 54% of Americans want Mr.
November
Abrego
polling showed
Garcia
Donald
back.
Trump won the
That's
election.
CNN
So
polling.
I don't- well, you know
The
what,
public
you
is
know,
shifting.
all
on
right.
this
We are
issue.
a sovereign
Guys.
nation, and you cannot just come into our country illegally whenever the heck you want, because we can't do it to any other country on the face of
Asylum
this
is
earth.
a legal
If
right.
you come in
Can't
illegally,
revoke due
you have to
processing.
leave.
You can't
Americans are
revoke due
tired of that. We
processing.
do not have unlimited
You
resources.
know who was here
We have to
illegally
care
with a
for our own people
deportation order?
first.
Marco Rubio's grandfather.
All right. Let's.
We're not talking about
let's.
Marco Rubio.
Oh, now
Anna.
we're not? Now that's
No,
not relevant?
it's not
No,
relevant.
I'm talking
It's not
about
relevant
Marco
to this
Rubio because
conversation
Marco
at
Rubio
all.
used to be an advocate for TPS for Venezuelans, and Marco Rubio used
Well,
to
I'm
be
not Marco
an
Rubio,
advocate
and
for
let me
Nicaraguans
tell you
and
my
Cubans.
beliefs.
No,
If
I know
you
you're
come into
not.
this country illegally, you are going home. Simple as
Okay.
that. We do not
Listen,
have unlimited
I
resources
think
in
a
this
lot of
country
Americans-
to take care of other
There's
people.
a hell
We
of
have
a lot
our
of
own
people,
people
other
here
than the
first,
black
Anna.
people who were brought here as slaves who came to this country illegally.
They
From
are
a
not
lot
the
of
same as
different-
black people who were brought here against
That's
our will.
exactly what I
They
just said.
decided
I
to
said
walk
there is
their
a
butts
lot of
across the
people
border. There's
other
a big
than the
difference.
black
There is
people.
a big
That's
difference.
exactly what
There's
I
a
just
big
said.
difference.
That's
Share Michael,
exactly what I just
Share
said,
Michael,
Sir Michael.
and
Look and act indignant. That's
Okay.
exactly what
It's
I
not
just
about
said.
acting
I-
indignant.
Yes, it is.
Let me
You just heard me
Share
say
Michael.
that other than the black
Anna
people
and Share
who came
Michael.
as slaves,
High
there
ground
are
here.
a lot of people from
Share
many,
Michael. I think
many
you
countries
actually
that came here
misheard what
illegally.
she. I think you misheard what she said.
No, he purposely misheard it.
She said.
I purposely
Yes,
misheard
she
it.
did.
So now you're in my
Share
brain?
Michael, listen to me for
Is
just a
that,
second.
is that where we're going?
You
Share
think
Michael,
I would
listen to me
say
for a
I will
second.
have advocated
Anna,
for black
please
people
stop.
my entire life and
Anna,
say something like that?
Anna,
Give me a
Because
damn
you've
break.
advocated for black
Anna,
people,
please
great,
stop.
congratulations. Last time I checked, I'm black, you're not.
Okay, Share Michael.
That's right. I'm Latino, and my people are being racially
It is-
profiled.
it is-
and
And do I have to
unfairly
remind you the history of my people?
Share
If
my-
you
I
want
have
to
to
go
read-
there?
no, I
Do you
don't.
really
Okay,
want to go
we're
there?
gonna
and
go
never
break.
follow
know the
Brown?
history.
Are you
Raul,
kidding
we're gonna
me?
go to
You know
break.
why?
Raul
Because
Reyes,
kidding
thank
me?
you very much for
Because
joining us.
people have
Everybody
discriminated
else,
against my
hang
own people
tight.
as well.
We'll be right back.
When I
Honey, Abby had to cut to commercial. All right, so who wants to go first? Our guest, Abby.
Sure. I mean, I see what she's saying. I think she didn't word it correctly. And as a person who runs in both brown and black spaces, I feel like that is the majority of my panel. I think sometimes there can be a little bit of like maybe misunderstanding from the Latino community. Being a first generation American, there is a lot of ignorance on our side. And I always advocate for Latinos to educate themselves when it comes to civil rights and when it comes to the fact that what we can do in America today is because of civil rights in the Black community. And had my community listened to the Black community, we wouldn't be where we are at right now. So I think, and we talk about this all the time, and I have Latino people email me and I'm like, look, I may not be the person for you because I'm going to say it how it is. I am in an interracial relationship and I was in it 10 years ago before it was cool. I have been embraced by the Black community for 13 years. And had we listened, had we educated ourselves, we wouldn't be here. So I think that a lot of Latinos got embraced by the conservative movement. And I feel like
Like they thought that they were going to be accepted into it, and now they're seeing that that's not the reality of it. And now we are being hunted, and we are in fear. But it's our responsibility as a community to stand up for ourselves. We don't have to turn around and ask anybody. Nobody owes us anything. Nobody has to go out and march for us. It is our duty to do that. It's our turn to step up. And I think if we educate ourselves and we respect the history of America and civil rights, we can then make a change. So I feel like what she said is kind of, I wouldn't have said what she said. It's kind of weird to put it that way. But yeah, I mean, I completely understand when it comes to the Latino community and the emotions behind it because of all the things that are happening. And it's not just undocumented immigrants. It's also U.S. citizens now that are being pushed out of their house in the middle of the night, families, children that are having to stay and be terrorized by the, ICE. So we see U.S. citizens that are being deported. So, I mean, it's a big deal, I feel like.
All right. Nora?
Okay, so I'm gonna have a different take. I am not FBA. Let me start by saying that. But what I'm about to say as an ally of FBA. Okay, first of all, lady, what Mexicans and Hispanics have gone through in this country does not compare to the 400-year history that foundationally Black Americans and foundationally Black Americans have gone through in this country. Second of all, I'm not trying to conflate, but the Mexican president in 1956 wrote, "Let the Negro fight his own battles. His problems are not mine. I don't want to ally with him." And I mean, I'm not trying to go back to the 50s and 60s. We've evolved as people, as time. But now you're fighting and saying, Black people, be allies, help with us, help, 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 help. I'm sorry. The same immigrants that are coming over here are taking jobs for Americans, for foundationally Black Americans in particular. They're moving into Black communities, taking over Chicago. Dana, you have P. Ray coming on your show every week talking about all the problems in Chicago. No one cares about that. And I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm a child of immigrants too. You play the game. You go to ICE. You comply. You don't wait till it gets to the point where you're getting a final warning, and then you show up, unfortunately, and you're taken at that point because you did not comply. So my sympathy is very low. I'm going to be honest with you for some of the situations you're seeing. And again, I'm a child of immigrants, so I do sympathize with immigration issues. I'm not saying that they don't exist. I'm not saying that the process is not hard, but we're the greatest country on earth. Why would it not be hard? Why are we okay with people coming through the border that we don't know? Why are we okay with people now telling us, oh, you need to feel bad for us when they snuck in illegally? Why should we be okay with that as American citizens? I'm an American first, and I'm not okay with it. And lastly, one last thing, I am appalled by what that lady said to him. How dare her? And CNN should fire her.
So I did want to give some clarification on something when it comes to Mexican heritage, because I am Mexican. The second president of Mexico was he was a mixed race, half black and half Latino race. And Mexico abolished slavery way before America ever did. I'm not saying that there isn't racism when it comes to Mexico, but I do feel like Mexico has progressed a little bit faster than even America has. And I want to share some statistics with you because I've actually dug deep for this. When you talk about undocumented immigrants, I haven't found the correlation. I have yet to find the actual statistics that undocumented immigrants negatively affect employment when it comes to the Black community. I will tell you what does affect unemployment when it comes to the Black community, and it's actually policy. So in New York, when we saw an influx of undocumented immigrant population, we did not see a decrease or an increase when it comes to unemployment in the Black community, but we did see a decrease when we saw policy be changed in New York that then helped the Black men, because that is who gets the least amount of hiring, to be hired. Because a convicted white man that has been convicted of a crime tends to get hired at about the same rate. I think there's a 3% difference between a convicted white man and a Black man with education and the percentage of hireability. So America has a problem, but they have a racist problem. Undocumented population does not have a direct correlation to unemployment when it comes to the Black community. So the job thing that Trump said, there is no real evidence to support that. Now, immigration does affect it, but not undocumented population.
All right, so I want to go to Men's, and then I'll give my comments as well. Go ahead, Men's.
Are you kidding me? I mean, I am a Black man on the panel, and it's funny how one person leaves with like, oh yeah, we take the blame because we didn't listen to Black people. Then they come and spew out a whole bunch of stuff which black people has been saying. Like, you know, it's kind of like what the last speaker was just saying. Literally is oppositional to what we're saying because we're living in this. You're not going to tell me illegal immigrants or illegal aliens or whatever you want to prefer, let alone immigrants in any country, doesn't take away from the residents, the actual natives and the citizens of said country. It just doesn't make any sense. One slot away from one slot to someone else is one slot away from us. No matter what it is, whether we're talking about classrooms, whether we're talking about jobs, whether we're talking about a neighborhood, whether we're talking about programs, whether we're talking about policy, you want to sum this only just to policy, but not the fact that throughout history, all policy in regard to the Democratic Party has focused on immigrants, affirmative action, white immigrants, DEI, immigrants, LGBTQ and white women, which are still immigrants, illegal and legal. Immigrants are problematic to any population when it's not controlled. Period. To sit here and try to distinguish, you know, what is illegal immigrants and the stats and all that stuff. You know, it doesn't impact black people. Yes, it does. And if you're in New York, which is where I'm from, right? You can't say anything about illegal immigration not impacting New York. You look at Brentwood, Deer Park, Wyandotte, North Babylon. You go out to Brooklyn. You go out to the Bronx. What are you talking about? Those used to be black communities. They forced the immigrants, the illegal immigrants, literally destroyed these communities, destroyed them, made black people. A lot of black people sold their homes. There's been migration. People are, when we're talking about immigrants, all forms of immigration is dangerous to the population of whatever they go into. And to try to like sugarcoat it and try to use some stats, right, is like you basically saying that, no, oh yeah, we just didn't listen to black people, but we're still not going to listen to black people because now we have the stats. And the stats don't say that. The stats don't say that because you ain't going to find actual stats that actually discusses the impacts of black people in the classroom, right? And the English as a second language, the EOL or ESL, and how those programs that the money was funneled to pay for ESL programs was into sacrifice of the after school programs. I watched it. I've seen it. Lastly, I want to say about the lady that was on the show. I can't believe that she had the audacity to talk to that black man like that. That was very nasty. Because we all heard what she said, regardless if she didn't mean it that way. To make any comparison to immigrants crossing the border and people being enslaved and brought here, and then say something about illegal immigration. Newsflash, during slave times, there was no during success times or colonial era, there was no Africans illegally coming to America, like trying to, sneak into America. Do you hear this crap? There was no. Why would you want to leave? Oh, and I want to say this to that point. I do not have any sympathy for any quote unquote brown people. How are you going to racialize black, right? Like your president may be racially black, but they're not ethnically black. So when we say, it's like people like to conflate this stuff, right? No, there's no comparison. The experience of Mexicans in Mexico is not the same as the experience of black people in America. And when we talk about black people in America, we're talking about black Americans. We're not talking about racially black people from everywhere else, because you already differentiated. You was calling other people Latinos. You was calling other people Mexicans and all that stuff. We're black Americans. So what's crazy to me is people come into this country understanding the past of this country, but they enjoy what they get out of it. And while they're here getting everything out of it, we're supposed to be sympathetic towards people that chose to participate in the system that's been utilized for centuries to step on us. And we've been fighting against it the whole time. And now since you're finally being impacted, we're supposed to feel bad for you. No, you opted into this. If you don't like it, the border's over there. Well, if you don't like mistreatment, if you don't like racism, because they know such thing as Latinos experiencing racist, like that lady said on the newscast. Talk about, oh yeah, we experience racism. You don't experience racism if you opt into the condition. You opt into those conditions. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't want to experience racism, if it was that bad, right? If I had a country that I could go back to, and I came here and it was too hot in the kitchen, would I go back to the country because, you know what I'm saying, like the treatment here was too harsh? So the treatment can't possibly be that harsh. These are just their talking points, you know,
Right.
to like uplift them. And I'm done.
I'm gonna go back to that point in the video where what she was saying, and then I'll say my thoughts and then swing it back to open forum.
Have unlimited
You
resources.
know who was here
We have to
illegally
care
with a
for our own
deportation
people
order?
first.
Marco Rubio's
Okay.
grandfather.
All right. Let's.
We're not talking about
let's.
Marco Rubio.
Oh, now
Anna.
we're not? No, that's
No,
not relevant?
it's not
No,
relevant.
I'm talking
It's not
about
relevant
Marco
to this
Rubio because
conversation
Marco
at
Rubio
all.
used to be an advocate for TPS for Venezuelans, and Marco Rubio used
Well,
to
I'm
be
not Marco
an
Rubio,
advocate
and
for
let me
Nicaraguans
tell you
and
my
Cubans.
beliefs.
No,
If
I
you
know
come
you're
into
not.
this country illegally, you are going home. Simple as
Okay.
that. We do
Listen,
not have unlimited
I
resources
think
in
a
this
lot of
country
Americans-
to take care of other
There's
people.
a hell
We
of a
have
lot
our
of
own
people
people
other than the
first,
black
Anna.
people who were brought here as slaves who came to this country illegally.
They
From
are
a
not
lot
the
of
same as
different-
black people who were brought here against our
That's
will.
exactly what I
They
just said.
decided
I
to
said
walk
there is
their
a
butts
lot of
across the
people
border. There's a
other
big
than the
difference.
black
There is
people.
a big
So that was a stupid comment for her to make.
But
Because
for clarification, though, she said that a lot of people that came here, other than the black people that were brought here, came here.
he didn't come here voluntarily, and the people that are coming here illegally through the border because the Biden administration allowed them, they never had to experience chattel slavery. See, when you
But she was excluding the black community from that comment. If you really pay attention, that's why she was saying.
language we
Oh,
don't
here's-
know because
here's-
I didn't hear
so
that.
let
No,
me-
wait, did y'all not hear what she said? She said there was a lot of people other than the black people that were brought here during slavery that came here illegal. She was saying all the white people, the white people that came here through Ellis Island and Angel Island that
Okay,
didn't have to go through background checks, came here,
No,
quote
no, no.
unquote.
That's still wrong. That's still wrong. So let me just say my piece here. That's still wrong. And see, and that's people are doing a lot of wordplay, and she's probably going to echo those same sentiments, Abby, when she go on a View or whatever. That was a lot of wordplay she was doing, and then she said, other than the black people that came here as slaves, there were other people that came here illegally. So my question would have been to her, name those people. What group of people? If you say Ellis Island, they came here legally. They were allowed to come here through Ellis Island. That was legal. And that was way after slavery. So during slavery, let's just take 1619 to 1865. What other group besides enslaved blacks that came here, quote unquote, illegally? There was no such thing as illegally because America wasn't America until 1778, to be exact, on paper. So this was actually the British that colonized here first before it was even America. So again, she was wrong. That was a horrible analogy. She got her facts wrong. She got her history wrong. And it is an insult because, again, these are people who were captured, who were put in chains, who were first dropped off in the Caribbean, the Western Hemisphere, and then 5 to 10% came here and they shipped them here. But then you had chattel slavery. They also annihilated the natives, enslaved the natives, that the ones they could capture. So there's a lot of dark history, and to try and compare or put in the same category or in the same sentence or in the same lane as illegals crossing a border for a better life, that was below her intelligence. And that's what I mean. It's a lot of wordplay. You're grabbing anything that come out your ass to make your point. And I get it. If you are for open borders, if you feel as though the 10 plus million people that came here illegally, you want them to stay, okay, talk to that. Stop equating and bringing Black history, Black suffering, and Black people into your narrative, because
They can't do that
every time. And then also real quick, Abby, and then I'll let you speak. Abby, real quick. When you was bringing up, you said policies is what harm people. Yes, public policies dictate our work, our health, our education, and so forth. And when we look at the history of public policies here in America, there were public policies that were against Black people, public policies that were not, that should have been to help us. But that's not, see, a lot of research sometimes is skewed, because I actually did research to where when the last year, and it's a hashtag Black jobs, 70% of adult working Black American population makes 40,000 or less annually. Those are the jobs that the illegals, which is undocumented illegals, same thing, and immigrants who probably just came here. Not all immigrants, but immigrants is someone you came here legally with papers. But as far as undocumented / illegals, they are the ones taking those low wage jobs from Black Americans. So when people say, yes, they are replacing Black jobs, 70% of adult working Black Americans make 40K or less. Those are the low wage jobs. So if you have an undocumented person, the companies do not have to report them on their paperwork. They can't, because they're illegal. So you don't have the paperwork on how many undocumented people that they hired to come work on the fields or in the factories. They paid them half or probably more than half of what they were paying, let's say, a Black employee who's an American citizen. So those numbers, that narrative, yes, that is true, because the majority of Black working people are working at the poverty line or below, and those are the jobs that the illegals are taking. So if you give those jobs to illegals, well, you got to lay off somebody who you're paying more, which would be probably Black Americans.
So when I've looked at research, and I'll tell you this, from the year of 2019 to 2022, due to policy that was changed, we saw an increase in wealth in the Black community of 60%. So when we have a current labor shortage in America, we have a labor shortage where I live at now. The farmers that are here are looking for people to come and work their farms. Nobody wants to go and do it. The jobs that undocumented immigrants were doing were jobs that nobody wants to do and are currently not being filled by anybody,
Bullshit.
quote unquote, Americans that don't want to do these jobs. Now, I'll tell you this. Undocumented immigrants paid $96.7 billion in taxes. The way that they do it was by a little thing that America gave them, which is called an ITIN number, an individual tax identification number that the system has given them to be able to use when they are being employed and don't have other paperwork that they can show. An employer can then use an ITIN number to pay the taxes, and then the undocumented immigrants can use the ITIN number to file taxes. So the way that undocumented immigrants, but when we look at statistics, 50% of them are actually filing taxes here in America. They have contributed and are a net positive to our economy. Now, if you have the statistics that say that unemployment due to undocumented population goes up, I would like to see that, because I will give you that migration, immigrants as a totality negatively impact the Black community. But undocumented immigrants, when we talk about population, there's not a direct correlation to unemployment rates in the Black community. If you are anti-immigration, that would mean all immigrants coming to America, then that's a completely different conversation that we're having, because that's not the conversation that America is having. And I'll end with this. I have to land my plane and then head out here in a few minutes. The Trump administration isn't only coming for undocumented immigrants. He wants to also send homegrown people out to these foreign jails in other countries. He has then, the Supreme Court has now told him he cannot use the Aliens Enemies Act to do this and to trample upon people's due process that is given to them under the Constitution. However, we are now seeing that U.S. citizen children and families are also being targeted by ICE and not giving the same responsibility under the Constitution to go through the proper channels.
Wait 1 second, I got to push back on you, because you said you're limited on time. That's not true. Why he wants to use the Aliens Enemies Act for the illegals, so to make it the process to deport them more easily, not for American citizens, because you cannot do that. He's not using
you caught the fear mongering.
Also,
So the Supreme Court has told him he can't use it.
Also, when you talk about the numbers, undocumented illegals, they don't pay tax. They don't pay state taxes. They don't pay federal taxes because they don't have documents. If you're undocumented, that means you're not documented. That means you are not giving a social, you're not giving a tax ID. That means because if you do have those things, then you will be deported because you are not supposed to be here. Undocumented meaning you are here illegally, that you broke the law. They pay sales tax, and that's the number where you got from as far as taxes.
No, that isn't true. That isn't true.
True.
Some tax. Wait.
You have to read them documents.
Undocumented. Undocumented means an illegal. That means you came here illegally. So how can you have filed for taxes when you don't have the proper? You're not supposed to be working. So a company.
So I'll tell you how.
If they would have put you on their payroll and you are an illegal.
That's not true.
Dana,
Because that's not true because our government.
She said she has to go, and I wanted to have my
But
chance.
let me tell you this. Actually, do some research on this. I'm not lying to you. I'm a
Because,
numbers person. I'm telling you.
I'm a numbers person. I've been studying
Okay,
for a
when
while,
when we go on that.
Yeah, I want to dispute.
Wait.
Something good. The ancestors.
Oh Lord. Oh no!
Dana, hey, I could go until she comes back.
She dropped out, but it was going in and out, but she dropped out. I don't think she did.
Bro, you can't be pro black and pro immigration. That's the last.
You can't be pro American. You cannot be pro American and pro immigration. You can't be pro any.
Well, pro
illegals.
illegals. Let me be clear.
Look, you cannot be pro any country and be pro immigration when there's problems in that country. At what point do we say, look, we're tired of helping everybody else. We need to shut the doors, fix what's going on here, get everything in order, and then we can revisit whether or not we want to let how many people, But
Facts.
I want to say this though, right? She tried to dispute the stat that she kept using black.
Ask her what happened because I didn't knock her out.
Okay, I'll text her because she said she had to go anyway. So sometimes
I want her to finish her statement. So if she come back on, just don't interrupt. I want her to finish. I want her to finish her statement. I really like what she was saying, but it wasn't true as far as like the taxes. I saw a clip on X where it was Jackson Hewitt. They were filling out tax returns for the illegal migrants that were there. That's illegal.
Yeah, but what she's talking about is that EITN number that some of them get, but they're here legally at that point because they're working as those farm workers, and that's not the illegal people we're referring to. It's the ones sneaking through the border and living life here for 30, 40 years. Like,
But I think
I'm focused on the 10 million plus that came here under Biden. They didn't pay taxes, but they haven't even paid enough into this country to get all that benefits that they were receiving. So let's just say it was an undocumented person that was here for 20 years, right? If they was here for 20 years, as opposed, and they were working, okay, maybe they had an EITN number, whatever it is, opposed to someone that just crossed the border 2 years ago. Those people invest or pay into the pension or Social Security tax system here, but they are reaping these billions of dollars.
Exactly. Mans, you made a good point about the school system, and that's the point I make to all these people. You're hurting our kids. You're hurting Americans.
Well, I want to look. I didn't like the fact that.
One second, Miss. Did you text her? Did you see what happened?
Yeah, I texted her. I haven't heard back, but I did text her, Dana.
Go ahead, Miss.
Oh, I can go right now? Okay. There's multiple points. And that point that she made really kind of got into my skin, but I'm not going to make this personal. That when you're having a conversation with people, you just come out and say, I'm a numbers person. I'm a politician. It's like, what is the purpose of you saying that? Are you saying that we're like not astute in mathematics, like we can't read stats and stuff? Because you didn't break down no numbers. You read numbers. Like we could read numbers too. And the numbers is facts. Like this is the facts. If you're a numbers person, then you would know that Black Americans held construction jobs and landscaping jobs for a long period of time. The jobs that this whole nonsense talking about, they're here doing what Black people don't want to do. What Americans don't want to do. They're going to do the jobs that we don't want to do. Wrong. The reason why black people and any other American,
Sorry,
right, gets pushed
Mens,
out of
not to cut you off. Dana, she said she's gonna try to hop back on. Her phone died. Sorry, Mens.
Okay, yeah, because it just I know she said she had to go, but then it just went dead. So I know it was something had to happen. Go ahead, Mins.
So when we talk about jobs, all right, every
You
single
on
job.
phone, Abby?
Sorry, I was on a charity event and then they closed down. So and my phone died at the same exact time. Sorry, guys. I'm back.
So, may I finish then, or do you want her to go?
Go ahead, Mins. No, go ahead, Mins.
I mean, look, this is woman supremacy up on here. So we got,
No, go ahead, Mins. Go.
Y'all got it. Y'all won. Y'all got it. Y'all win it. All right. So when we're talking about numbers and we're talking about jobs and we're talking about the advantages of, or should I say disadvantages of immigration of all sorts. And we're talking about, and we're trying to separate between illegal immigration and immigration, right? The only difference is terminology. For me, there's a point where immigration and illegal immigration could be looked at as two separate things. And there's a point that when this country is in dire need of focus and advancement, as far as like through policy and focus on the people, through education, through institutionalization, and taxation, and everything else. Like even in the Democratic Party, it's completely trash. Like our country is going in a process of shambles right now. Nothing is of quality. And when we have that situation, I cross past that line where there is no difference in illegal and legal immigration. Right now, we don't need any immigration. And as an American, I think it should be fair for me to actually say that and not for me to be demonized, because it's true. Just like if a Mexico or Cuba or DR was going through any particular situation, there's a point where there is not just going to be illegal immigrants coming to the country that they want to slow down and stop. At some point, it has to be all immigration until we address our issues, until we resolve our problems, until we revamp and advance our system. And that notion, that comment that was said earlier about, they're doing the things that we want to do, that is not true. That's never been true. And if you're a numbers person, you will see that farmers, we owned almost over 40% of farmland, and we were pushed out the farm market. We were bought out the farm market, and let alone the discrimination that occurred and the jobs that were available, right, that we were holding. They stopped paying us livable wages because they found immigrants that was willing to live in far worse conditions and lower standard of living, and will pay them less. So if we didn't like what they were paying us, it's okay, fine. You could go. We'll just hire, El Salvador, whoever, El Nino and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll just hire this person, and so that's what happened. It wasn't, we just wasn't trying to get a job, and we just said hell with the jobs, and then the Hispanics came in and said, okay, we'll do it. No, it was a whole process through integration and immigration from 1950s, 1960s on up. Did y'all forget that we held a good portion of the government jobs? We held most of the farming jobs. All these jobs that you said that we wouldn't do. We held all of these jobs. What changed? The expectation of what to get paid. That's what changed. Or what to pay somebody. You know what I'm saying? They'll pay. You live in New York. How many of these daggone restaurants? You talk about how much money they put back into the economy. Give me a break. You go into every single Chinese food restaurant, they got illegals working in there. You go to the hair places, they got illegals working in there. You go to the landscaping companies, they got illegal teenagers working for the landscapers that don't even go to school. They don't even have the same requirements that we have with our children. That there's a mandatory minimum that there's some level of educational program. Even if you homeschool, you have to give a certain amount of hours. They don't even have to They don't even have to do that. So that's I just wish that people would stop with this whole thing that somehow the situation that we're undergoing here in America today with immigrants is somehow positive when it's far from it. Let's not talk about outsourcing. I'm done.
I want does anybody want to respond? Can you hear us, Abby?
Oh, can you guys hear me? I don't know.
Did you want to you want to respond, Nora or Abby?
All I want to
Yeah.
say though is to Men's point, I do agree that there are jobs being given away. I don't know if they're illegal, but they don't speak English. And I don't think that's right. And I want to say shouts out to President Trump for what he did with the truckers, because I don't think it's right that six-figure jobs are going to people that don't speak English, especially when they're driving a high-powered, weapon. Basically, I mean, a truck can kill lives. And I'm not saying that you don't that English is the only requirement, but it should be one of the requirements. And so I agree with Men's. And if we're going to talk about high-paying jobs, that's one of them that's taken and that was given to people. I don't know if they were illegal, but they don't know English.
So can you guys hear me? I don't know if my
Yeah, we can hear you.
okay. So I first wanted to say there's a big difference between undocumented immigrants, so illegal immigrants, and a legal immigrant. There's a huge difference. The government in itself recognizes that there's a big difference. So to conflate the two is a big disservice, number one, to the legal system and to the immigration system that America has put in place. And then I want to say number two, undocumented immigrants have been able to pay using the ITIN number. Again, I would implore you to go and do some research on this, because America has asked undocumented immigrants to come and work their farms. In 1942, we had the Bracero program here in America. And afterwards, we had a big reform where we gave a lot of these farmers and braceros that came and worked the farms for us. We actually gave them residency and then ultimately citizenship. So America has always asked of undocumented immigrants to come and do the hard work. And then I want to say, I've traveled, I've been to Europe before. I've been able to drive cars in Canada and in Italy. You can go and get a rental car in Greece. I mean, you don't necessarily have to be able to speak their language. So I don't know that there's a language barrier when it comes to being able to drive a car. However, I think that if they don't want us, if they don't want Hispanic and Latinos to do these jobs, then let those jobs go to waste. Because in reality, when we see undocumented immigrants leave these jobs, we're not seeing Americans pick these jobs up. We're seeing that these jobs are just not being done. So I tell the Latino community, if they don't want us in these jobs, then don't do them. Let them figure it out. Let them have a labor shortage, because that is currently what we're having. And again, I implore you to go and do the research. There's no way that undocumented immigrants would have been able to pay 96.7 billion, not million, but billion in taxes only by sales tax. So yes, we do pay state and local tax. We don't just pay on the sales tax, because America has always figured out a way to allow you to pay taxes, but not allow you to give you a route to citizenship.
So my question is, my statement would be, let me just see this. I'm still playing with the thing here. My question would be, the 10 million that came in under Biden, they ain't paying into the state or federal. 10 million plus. So if someone that was undocumented here and they've been here for over a decade, because we do have those. What's that?
Yeah, Dana, I want to rebuke something she said when you're done
Oh,
about the ITN number.
okay. So someone who's there, they are undocumented people that's been here for 20 years, 10 years, 15 years. I ain't talking about them. Because they didn't break our system. The 10 plus million that came under the Biden administration.
Those were asylum seekers, and they came here legally. Let's just make a difference.
Wait 1 second, Abby. So if I'm talking, mute up, because you're in a car, is going to give a feedback. It's going to give a strange feedback. But did you say that the 10 million plus people that came here were asylum seekers?
They came here under a humanitarian program.
What's the definition of asylum seeker?
They're fleeing because of persecution in their
every person. Okay, so what countries were they being persecuted from?
Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Cuba. Venezuela, of which we had the American government destabilize their government, and so
it doesn't matter. But they weren't being persecuted. They weren't being persecuted. They didn't have a civil war going on. Just tap mute. They didn't have a civil war going on. The 10 plus people, they were all not asylum seekers. And the United States, we have a quota. We only allow maybe, I think, up to 100,000 annually to apply to be asylum seekers. So just because you say you are, that don't mean you're going to get approved to be one. But we have a quota, and it's a purpose of having a quota because we don't have the infrastructure on thousands of people to process all that paperwork and go through the court system. So we have a quota, and the Biden administration said, the hell with the quota. Everyone could come in here for whatever reason, all the way China. Why are the Chinese coming here? They're not being prosecuted. Why are people from different countries in Africa coming here? Majority of those people were not coming here to seek asylum. They were coming here for a better life. And I get that. But you're coming here illegally, but we just had a commander-in-chief and his whole administration that allowed for you to break the law because they were breaking the law. So, what was I saying? Oh, so to the point of asylum seekers, they were not asylum seekers. Undocumented and illegal are the same. They just don't have paperwork, and you did not come here the proper way. The only reason why people prefer to say undocumented, because illegal is, yes, a criminal, and they don't want to label these people as a criminal. You may not have harmed someone, you may not have stole anything, but you broke the law by coming here without the proper permission, without the proper paperwork.
Dana, can I? Oh, I'm sorry. Can I just say one thing real quick about the ITN number, and then Menz, you can go. I promise it's real fast. I looked up the ITN number, and it's a fax on it. Can you legally work in the U.S. with an ITN? No, an ITN does not authorize you to work in the U.S., nor does it change your immigration status. However, ITNs can be used for career opportunities as a freelancer, independent contractor, or business owner. So you're not that. So basically, if they're using an ITN to work, that's another form of illegal, furthering their being illegal here. So how are they paying taxes on if they're using that? That doesn't make sense.
So you just read right there that you can use it to further your career. The way that you can use it to further your career is to use it instead of a social security. It doesn't give you legal status in America, but your employer, I'm telling you, I used to work for a software company, and we
I don't care what you used to work for. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make what you're saying right.
And they actually can accept your ITIN number instead of a social security, and the 30% state, federal, and local tax will be paid to the government by that ITIN number. So yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna say this. You know, this whole thing about there's a labor shortage, a labor force shortage. That is an outright lie. One of the biggest lies, like a labor shortage. And I'm gonna tell the Latino community that if they don't want us to work here, then let's don't do the jobs, don't go work there, and let's see who's gonna go for these jobs. As soon as the Latino, this is why I say that deportation is necessary. It's necessary because the idea that a Latino comes and does a daggone hard labor job, or a Latino comes and takes or any other immigrant, right, especially illegal, comes and takes another position and any other job, right, and that they're only people that are qualified, right? So they're here taking advantage of privileges and opportunities that they did not fight for, they do not deserve. They got it just by crossing the daggone border. They got it into just flying into this country. They weren't forced here. They weren't tricked here. They weren't trafficked here. None of that. They came into this country. They're taking advantage of everybody else's positions that literally built it. The city they're living in every part of New York and any other place they're in, was there before they got there. And they moved in, and because they're the ones that have been cherry-picked at the moment, right? Somehow we're supposed to just look at their taxes, this figure that they give into the American economy, as if these people weren't here, we wouldn't be the same people giving that much into more than what we're giving already to this American economy. We shouldn't have to even pay taxes, if you ask me. But I'm going to say this. This is an outright lie. There ain't nothing special about Latinos, just like there ain't nothing special about anybody else that comes from anywhere else. And this idea that we're the best at this job, and if we ain't gonna do it, nobody else ain't gonna do it. No, if you're not here stepping on our toes, we will actually be doing it and getting paid what we're supposed to be getting paid. We're more conditioned. We know what the job is worth. You're just being used as cheap laborers. And once they're done with you, as they are, this is what's going on, they're going to move on to another demographic. That's just how America has done it. They did it with the Homestead Act. They did it with affirmative action. They did it with DEI. And they're going away with all of that right now. You said that America is not focused on immigration. That's a separate issue. No. Who is that a separate issue for? And who are you to tell me what is illegal or what is bad immigration and what isn't? You can't tell me how to differentiate as an American. You are the second class and third class. I'm the person that says, I don't like this. I declare that an immigrant is just as bad as an illegal immigrant, and an illegal immigrant and an asylum seeker and a refugee are all the same thing. I can say that. It's my house. You can't tell me how to qualify things at my house and try to read a definition.
The government actually gives.
I don't care what the government. Excuse me, I didn't cut you off. I was told not to cut you off. At least don't cut me off, right? I'm gonna land with this. Right? You want to talk about the government? This is why we're all running. This is why we're all getting into position. Because guess who the government? The most powerful position in politics are the people. And this is what it's coming down to. The realization of that. So you can talk about the government, but when you talk about the Americans, the American people, and American first, we're the ones that are going to dictate where this country goes into. That's why the 14th Amendment is being looked at again. To shut this whole birthright citizen nonsense down, to cut down all these anchor babies and all of these illegals and quote unquote illegals, because this country cannot bear to have people like yourself, like people like the people that you're representing here claiming this nonsense as if you're not causing damage. Any job for you is a job away from Americans. Any classroom towards you is a classroom away from Americans. Any hospital, medical facility or address or hospital room, doctor, nurse towards you is one away from an Americans. And if y'all are so great and immigrants are so beautiful, then why don't you take all of those skills and build your countries up to the position that you're saying that you and participate and give to your country the same thing you're saying you give it to us, because you're not doing anything special here. You're just only stepping on our toes. And I'm done. Thank you.
That's fine. Go ahead, Abby.
So I did want to say, not everyone who comes here and is an undocumented immigrant came here of their own free will. This is why we have the DACA program, because this is for children that were brought here by their parents who had no option but to be in America, who now we have given an ability to have legal status. There's a big difference between legal and illegal, given the fact that you have the right to be here and have extra rights. But even if you are undocumented, you still have the right to due process. So it does matter under the law and under the government. It matters to the justice system. And I want to say that being here undocumented, not crossing, not coming a second time, but just being here undocumented can be the same as jaywalking. It is a civil offense. It is not a criminal offense. So just being here undocumented doesn't mean that you are liable for a criminal offense. And it does matter if you pay taxes, because we fund the federal program by paying taxes to the federal program. So I am worried about what undocumented immigrants are paying, because they don't have the same ability to apply for government subsidies and cannot receive any government subsidies federally, because again, they are undocumented and are illegal. So I think it is very important to make the difference between legal immigrants and illegal immigrants, because if you want to cut off all immigrants, that isn't what the Trump administration wants to do, because they're bringing the white immigrants from Africa, the white farmers from Africa, and bringing them here to America. So Trump isn't anti-immigrant. He's just anti-illegal immigrant, to make the difference between that.
Well, I'm anti-illegal immigrants as well. If people coming here legally by way of permission by the president or whoever, okay, so what? They came here legally. 10+ million people not only coming here illegally because the commander-in-chief at that time of that administration, the Biden administration, allowed them to, literally broke the system, literally broke cities and states that these people flock to the sanctuary cities and the sanctuary states. Billions up to $1 trillion were spent on these people that just got here yesterday. And the people here in those very communities, which are predominantly Black communities, poor communities, they have been overlooked for decades, and they have been told there's no money, we can't get this policy passed, the Republicans are bad, all this other stuff. But you found a way to pull money out of thin air, not just money, billions upon billions of dollars annually for people to cross the border. And they wanted the open borders, the Biden administration, so that they could have these illegals go into these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states and allow them to vote, because they also wanted them to be able to vote so that the Democrats could not only stay in power on a state level, but to control Congress and to control the White House. It was for that party to stay in power. So let's give them all these social services that they didn't pay not 1 cent into. Even the undocumented has been here for decades. They don't pay the same, even if they're paying something, which means their employers are taking money out of their check that goes to the state tax. That still doesn't equate to the same amount that I pay and everybody else who are citizens pay. So with that said, these 10 plus million that broke our system, bankrupting our country and increasing the crime to the 12th power, no, they need to go, babies and all. Now, as far as ICE, you said that they're busting down American citizens' doors. No, they're not. And if they are, that's because they're harboring illegals in their house. So your door gonna get bust down by ICE, and rightfully so, because you're not supposed to be harboring illegals. So all that. So there were a lot of homeowners that were being paid by the city of Chicago and the state and these other cities, right? They were being paid extra money, millions and millions of dollars to house illegals. So maybe ICE is busting down their door. Yeah. So it's a lot of crime. A lot of people got wealthy from this mass illegal border crash. And we, the American people, are paying for it and suffered for it. So I don't know. I don't have not 1 ounce of sympathy. No, I understand you, a mother with kids or a man, you want a better life. I get it. I get that. But I don't feel sorry for you when you get caught. And my tax dollars, I don't want going to provide for you. No. So I voted for the mass deportation that's going on. And he said that his goal is to deport 4 million. That's not even half of the people that the Biden administration allowed to come in here, let alone all the terrorists that slid in here. So again, we still have a very large amount of people illegally that just got here yesterday that's going to be here for a while. So, but go ahead. Well, actually, I'm gonna go around and let everybody get their last marks. Nora, you could go, and then I'll go to Abby.
Well, this was awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the beautiful Dana. Thank you so much for including the new party on your platform. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Skeptic, for being a good sport as always. I wouldn't have brought you here if I didn't think you would. I knew it was going to be a tough room. Thank you, Men's, for your
let me say something real quick, Abby, because Miss Abby, honey, she I think she'll go on anybody's damn platform, honey, because she do her research. It's a difference.
Yeah.
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 So what
Yeah.
not? So I can't, knock her like, oh, everything she said was BS, but
Right.
I'm talking about the principle and stuff behind it. But yeah,
Right.
I think it don't matter who in the room, honey, she gonna bust in that door with what she gotta say. So yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, she's a good sport, and she is knowledgeable, so we can't take that from her. But America, we are at a point now where we're going to either continue to fight the reality or unite. The reality is we had an invasion at our border 4 years in. Sorry to say it. And 10 million, like Dana said, came in here. And right now, our president is trying to clean it up. 4 million is not enough to some. 4 million is a lot, but it's not enough to some. And I get that. But now, unfortunately, it's going to be a hard time until we clean it up. Also, again, like I said, you cannot be pro-Black and pro illegal immigration. It's not possible. So it's either one or the other. And for me, I'm pro-Black and I'm pro-America, and that's where I land.
Go ahead, Abby.
So again, I want to say the immigrants that came under Biden were asylum seekers. Again, if you read up on what an asylum seeker is, they are considered to be legal and they have work permits. So they're not the same as undocumented immigrants. However, I will say I don't necessarily disagree that there isn't a problem with immigration in this country. However, I think that the way that we're handling the situation isn't the best. And I also think that the particular case that I'm talking about is the one in Oklahoma where they busted down the door of a U.S. citizen family with the quote unquote, supposedly we're saying that ICE was looking for a particular person that wasn't there, terrorized the family, had the daughter outside with no clothes on. So this is what we're living on now because we have allowed
one incident, Abby. You gotta give me a dozen more. Give me 10 more. You can't find
Well,
it.
there was also a Honduran immigrant who was deported with her 3 U.S. citizen children, one of which was 4 years old and had cancer. There's also that one. There is a 19-year-old man, I want to say his last name is Gutierrez, who was held in an ICE detention in Arizona, who is a
Yeah,
US.
the mother. Okay, so the mother with the kids, she was illegal and she had anchor babies. So the Biden administration and Tom Homan said, we're not going to separate families. They're all going to go together. And that's what happened.
So actually, she is currently suing the U.S. government because her lawyers are saying that they didn't go through the proper channels
You
of due
can't sue
process.
the U.S. government.
You can't deport U.S. citizens the way that they did.
No. But you the only way you could sue the U.S. government is if they allow you to sue them.
It's anti-humanitarian to deport U.S. children, particularly one that's 4 years old and has cancer. I want to say that's a crime against humanity. And
How long has she been in this country?
That child was born here and has lived their whole life here in America.
But they're 4. So let's just say she's been here 5 years. She had the baby here, so she has an anchor baby. The baby has cancer, so she wanted to have her baby here, and she knew if her kids got sick, that it would be better medical treatment than wherever she came. A lot of resources that I paid into, and now I should feel upset. No, you're going to continue with the cancer treatment.
You don't think that U.S. citizen children should have,
or what Soros and these other Democrat politicians, they should send her back with money and resources for the medical treatment.
It doesn't change the fact that our Constitution covers her because she's a U.S. citizen.
No,
so
it doesn't.
Regardless of
That's why the
her
14th
mother
Amendment is being viewed right now.
I will say the 14th Amendment was passed after the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery. The 14th Amendment was actually passed here because of the
for
Black
slaves, for the
they
free,
wouldn't have
for the
been
Black community,
considered
nothing to do
American
with immigrants.
citizens. So what the current administration is trying to do is actually directly going against. Sorry, it kind of cuts y'all off a little bit.
Go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. However, I just my concluding thoughts are, I always tell my audience, this is what I always say, don't let anybody trample upon your constitutional rights. The reason why we have a constitution, the reason why we have amendments and we have certain unalienable rights are to protect us from what's currently going on. So my closing thoughts are always, don't let anybody trample upon your constitutional rights. That's what I stand on.
No, thank you, Abby. I really appreciate you coming on. I love to have you come back on, in the future to have these panel debates. I think it's a good discussion. And I want people with different views. We all don't have to agree. That's what makes a good discussion. Go ahead, Min. Your last remarks.
I'll tell people, find me on social media or if you email me, minstexting@gmail.com. I'll send you mountains of data since people want to be numbers for people and stuff, right? We have been taken advantage of.
Yes, pick your mic up. It's like rubbing against your
Right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. So If anybody would like data that actually lines up with everything I'm about to say right now, feel free to reach out. Dana could give you my email and everything, and I'll definitely send you mountains of data, not only just data, but as well as peer review articles discussing how immigration has affected Black Americans for decades and decades and decades, let alone Martin Luther King, who spoke about the immigrants and how they impacted us with the Homestead Act. And there was multiple Homestead Acts, by the way. This is nothing new. And people like today, I'm not going to target anybody, but there was a statement made today that was like, if we would listen to Black people a long time ago, we wouldn't be in this position. But then goes to dispute everything that Black people are saying and trying to use the government and what the government's decision has been doing as if we as Americans actually align with the government and we think that everything and every choice the government makes is right. We obviously don't. We've been, Black Americans have been constantly the people who have opposed this government direction has been going. I mean, think about it. At one point, the government stood by and allowed slavery to go on, which was unconstitutional. Today, it's because of Black Americans that the 14th Amendment is being looked at again. Let's not forget this. The 14th Amendment has been compromised, and utilized and abused by immigrants, not just illegal immigrants, but immigrants, period. This idea of people trying to say the Constitution, you don't have an amendment that actually includes you in the Constitution. The 14th Amendment is for freed slaves. That's what they're going on right now. It's for freedmen. It wasn't for immigrants. The 13th Amendment and the 15th Amendment. 13th Amendment is abolishment of slavery. 14th Amendment is equal protection of law. 15th Amendment is the right to vote. All of those are for us. That was for us. It was for our solidification in this country. Now, when it comes down to this discussion about, I'm not mad. Like, people, this is what it is. This, get mad at what I'm telling you. This is the facts. When it comes down to immigrants, right? There's a point where somebody like Dana and even yourself, Nora, in this country, right? Everything is fine. You're not going to really have much of a big deal with immigrants, right? Like, because everybody's eating, everybody's working, the economy seems to be functional. There's your neighbors are not being moved out. Property value is not going up and unaffordable. And then you're not going to the store and you're not asking somebody for something and they can't speak English, right? Immigration, you're not really going to have much of an issue for it, right? But in today's climate, when the economy is unstable, right? The inflation is out of this world. I'm saying groceries, cost of living is very expensive. And then you can't qualify for certain, whether it's a grant, a business grant, whether it's a nonprofit grant or college, right? Your kids, they don't qualify because you make too much. But then you see people, right, immigrants flooding into our colleges and universities and then coming into our communities and moving into our communities, right? Studentification, that's what's called, studentification. Look that up for y'all who like these terms and stuff. Studentification, immigrants. Yes, you're going to have a problem with not just illegal immigrants. You're going to have a problem with all immigrants because it's a point where you have to pull back and you have to again. Somebody say you falling asleep. Well, I had to wait this long, so it is what it is.
But land your plane, please.
Yeah. Men's, where can we find you? I can't find you.
I don't know why y'all don't put @ on your name title. Like what?
Yeah, well, I got mine. Just the new party.
Abby has hers. Well, I got my Cash App. So yeah, you just got men's, honey. You need to put @ So
yeah.
30 seconds, men's. Land your plane. Cause I need to go to Nora. She give her last remarks. I need to close out.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the last. Okay, all right.
That was your last. You're done.
No. I thought Nora. I thought we was doing the last remarks. I thought it was the last one. I just want to. I'm gonna land with this, right?
Nora, go. You get your last remarks, Nora. Damn, because you know why people get straight to the point. We don't need a dissertation, men's. We don't need dissertation. This is not expert.
That's okay. I have to wait.
This is a difference with space. Like when you're live on YouTube, you got to get to the point. It's not X space where you could draw everything out. It's like boom, boom. It's time. It's timing. So 30 seconds.
So, look, your audience is saying, let him speak, man. Let him preach. He's
It's
speaking the truth.
one person
Nah,
is.
there's other people that says
Tell us
facts.
where we can find you, Men's, and they can see more of this. Like, where do you want? Tell us your name, because I try to look you up. I can't find you.
On Twitter. On Twitter.
Yeah,
On
what is
Twitter.
it on Twitter?
It's at LOVEBLK
Why don't you say?
America. Love Black America.
Okay.
At Love BLK America. And
Okay. I found you.
so
I don't
Joseph
know if I
Quinn.
said.
That's not you.
I don't know if I
that's
said.
me. That's
I
me.
only
I'm
run
watching you.
TikTok Spaces.
That's you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right.
He
I
got,
would have never even. Who would know this?
he got the
Why
white.
you
Yo,
hide your face?
Joseph Quinn, yeah, man. All right, so I'm gonna land with this. So everything is about the current condition, the current environment, and this is not hate. It has nothing to do with hate. If I lived in Jamaica, or if I lived in Mexico, if I lived in Nigeria, if I lived in Cuba, and it was it was in a screwed up position, and we had massive influx of people coming into the country,
Yes, I said
receiving
30
better treatment.
seconds. Just get to the point.
All right,
Actually,
I'm
let me
done.
get to the
I'm
super
done.
chat. All right,
I'm
let me
done.
get to the super chat. It says Abby visiting another country, renting car, not knowing how to speak a certain language versus working and operating a semi truck, not knowing how to speak English are two different situations. Thank you, Courtney. Did you want to
I
respond
don't
to that?
necessarily disagree with that. Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree, but I'm just saying that it can be done without necessarily being proficient or the most proficient in that language. However, because of the big numbers of Hispanics that work uh, driving semi trucks and have CDL license. But like I said, if America doesn't want you in the workplace, I tell Latinos, man, go somewhere else.
It
They have
ain't
a
that
labor
big of a
shortage. They
number.
need
It's
us.
15%.
So,
Yeah, it's not that big of a number. It's 15%, and that can go. Those are six-figure jobs that can go to American citizens.
All right.
Amen. Amen. Hopefully that's sure enough. Right. There you go, Norma. That's what I'm talking about. Nora.
All right. That's it. Listen, thank you guys for coming on. And I just want to show this one. Mo. Yes, Mo, little Mexican with yes. There are a lot of beautiful Mexican women. Yeah. And it's Cinco de Mayo on Monday. And
It
I'm
is
gonna be
Sunday. Or yeah.
I thought it was Monday the 5th.
Oh, it might actually be Monday. We're celebrating Sunday.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I'm gonna
I was
be
like, man, can
and
we
I'm
get
gonna
it
be
wrong?
just like all the other ignorant Americans and think it's just for drinking. So I'm gonna have a cocktail, just one.
Thank you for having me on. I will say TikTok is a lot like this. So I feel very comfortable in these spaces where people disagree with me.
Okay, TikTok it may be a little bit more vicious, but I gotta get on TikTok.
Oh, they definitely are.
Thank you, Abby. I really appreciate you coming on. Definitely want to have you back on. I want to have all you guys back on. So this is because the last time I did the panel, it was pre-recorded and I'm uploading on a Sunday, but I'm just going to start doing panels on Friday, bringing in different mixtures, people with different perspectives, backgrounds, points of views. And so I hope everybody enjoyed this. This is cute. Let me see something. Okay, that person. Yeah. And what is this? Okay, that's cute too. I'm just playing with the thing again. All right. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you taking the time. Men's, I will see you on X, honey, where you could give your long dissertations. I'm gonna work on you when you on YouTube. You gotta get to the point. I'm gonna work on that.
This is why I host my spaces, because I let everybody talk.
That's X, and it's a difference when you come on to YouTube. It's different. It's different. So, and of course, Nora and the new party. Love you as well, and everybody over at the new party. I'm gonna put everybody's. Can you guys just email me your social media handles, and I'm gonna put it in the description so people go and follow you and stuff like that. All right, everybody have a wonderful weekend.
Dana, linger on so we can get this mic addressed. This mic
Thank
situation.
you.
It was nice meeting you all as well, Nora. Nice meeting you, and funny debate club.
My name is Abby. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you. Bye.